All right, let's talk a little New York politics, and we begin with the latest newspaper column musings of one Richard Brodsky. In the Albany Times-Union, the aforementioned Mr. Brodsky opines on the 2014 strategy for Governor Cuomo, and as we mentioned here last week, all sides may be pointing to an election year tax cut. Now, Richard likens this to a Tea Party austerity move, even though he writes the state cannot afford it. And Richard, part of it that I got from your piece was admiration, at least, of the politics of what Andrew Cuomo is trying to navigate here with maybe 2016 national ambitions. He's got a great record if you're a progressive or even a Democrat in New York on social policies, but if you close your eyes when it comes to dollars and cents, he might as well be a Republican.
Gay marriage, guns, abortion rights, there's no one more active and successful than Andrew Cuomo. On tax and budget policy, he has something of the elements of the Tea Party Republicans. That's what some of us call progractionary, progressive reactionary, and it's sort of counterintuitive about both New York's politics and the national Democratic mood. The theory is that nationally Democrats in 2016 are going to want income inequality and an end to that, and Democrats will be forced to talk about that. Andrew says no, that if we can put together a coalition of groups that have specific social agendas, then perhaps we can talk to the wider voting populace with a tax cut.
Now this, you believe, will come to a head because we're not talking about some marginal tiny tax cut. You're talking about a substantive tax cut, and he's telegraphed that. You've spoken to people close to him. We're talking about real cuts here.
We're talking about real cuts, and it's not just that he said as much at a fundraiser on Long Island. It's that Unshackle Upstate, which is this Tea Party group, is out there. Republicans in the Senate are out there. That doesn't happen without blessing from the top. In the end, I hope I'm wrong, but if you want to look for a consistent, intelligible, and unique political strategy, he's headed down that road, wins with it in 2014, takes it to the national electorate in 2016 without Hillary.
The loudest voices that would oppose this, they may fall on Democratic lines, but it's really are the mayors, because as we learned, it all flows downhill. And at the end, if you're a mayor and you're not getting any funding and you still have to provide services, you're in trouble. They're going to scream loudest, right?
70% of the state budget is returned to local governments. It's a transfer. Only 30% goes to the departments of the government, to the Motor Vehicle Bureau and that. So when he cuts the revenues in a David Stockman-like way, he's really saying that school districts, counties, towns, villages, cities are really going to have a problem. Plus the fact that he's going to be faced with a huge gap in New York City with a newly elected mayor. It's going to be tough.
I got to hit a break. We saw this, by the way, a few years ago in New Jersey when Christie first came in. There was a hue and cry also on the municipal level, too, with what he did. All right, RFL will be right back after this.